Hi guys. So I am back after years of not being here. And I was just going along and realized that my debt is getting higher. I'm not really thinking about what I'm spending on. I was still going into the different categories, but if I didn't have enough here, I would use it from here. I wasn't trying to pay off debt. I was just, make it a little bit lighter. I was just, I don't know, just kind of moving along. If I didn't have enough money in my spending and I wanted to spend it, I would pull it from somewhere else. So I thought, I've got to get back on track. I want to get this debt paid off. We have goals and dreams and things we want to do and things that we're saving for. And I took a hard look at what I was spending my money on, how much I was spending every month, and the amount of debt that I had. And I was like, whoa, put the brakes on. Hold on. We got to get back in line with this. So this doesn't work for everyone's personality. My husband can't wrap his head around it, but it works for mine. I can't do it any other way. Otherwise, I just spend like I have all the money in the world, and I have to have things separated. So I made a binder. I'm also a paper person. I'm a list maker. I have a list for everything. I love this binder. I've been kind of adding to it. I may tweak some things that I want to do a little bit differently. And I have a couple more forms. Well, one for sure that I know I'm going to make probably today. But so this is my binder. And it's starting with an expense tracker. And you will see that there are different influences in here because obviously I have listened to different people. I've followed different people. I've tried different methods, and I'm kind of at the point where I'm picking out what works for me and what I know works for me. And then I'm keeping that and getting rid of all the rest. That's why I like the binder, because I can't tell you how many budget calendars and notebooks and all these things that I've bought that are just sitting here dusty. So I'm just kind of building my own in this binder with what I need and what's going to work for me. So this is my expense tracker, and I have my categories down here. So I'm going to write this in at the end of each day, what I've spent, and whether it was cash or card. This is not me transferring money from here to savings. It's not a checkbook balance. It's me, what I actually spent. So whether I spent something on my debit card, whether I went out and spent cash on something, and then I'm going to highlight it in these colors. These are the categories for me. You may have different categories. And then at the end of the month, I'll tally them up and see, what did I spend on food? What did I spend on date night? Then I can look at my budget and say, do I have enough here? Do I have too much here? And just go from there. This is my monthly calendar. So the way I do this is I put all of my bills on, and then I color code my paydays. So I actually got paid on July 31st. So that was a pink payday. So I'm paying everything in pink. I get paid again on the 14th, and that's this kind of blue-green color. And then I get paid again on the 28th, which is this kind of orangey color, which will, obviously go into September of what I'm paying. This is my paycheck budget. So where I get most of my money from is my job, the main character that makes all this happen. And so this was my first paycheck at this job. I did change jobs. I did take a little bit of a pay cut, but it has been 100% worth it for me and the stress in my life and my health conditions. It has made a world of difference. And then I had 300. So I ended up with $26.73. I had budgeted for $2,300. Like I said, I didn't know what I was going to be getting. And my insurance and 401k has not started yet. So I imagine that's going to go down to $1,900, $1,800, maybe $1,700, $1,800. So I'm going to have to really look at my budget. And that's why I want to get a lot of this debt gone. So some years back, I had terrible credit situation I was in, and I did get a secured credit card. Then they eventually gave me another credit card that was unsecured, and then I got another card. But all these credit cards had like $200 limits on it, you know, because I had poor credit. And so every time somebody would send me an offer, I would say, oh, it must be getting better, because now they want to give me 500, or they want to give me 750, or then they want to give me 1,000. And so I'm ashamed to say how many credit cards I had. I ended up with, I think 26, which is terrible. But then I didn't want to close them because I knew we wanted to buy a house, and I wanted that length of history on there. But we bought this house in January, and I have paid off several, and I closed 2 last week. The first 2 I closed. So I am very excited about that. I'm waiting to make sure the payments process on these others that I paid off, and then I will be calling and closing them. So the mortgage is a certain amount, but Gary and I, in a way, split our income. Before we were married, I moved to Florida. He was already here. I had a car payment. He had a car payment. I had credit cards. He had credit cards. I had school, and I owed the IRS at the time. And so we just did all that separately. And then I would just give him money for the rent and the utilities. And then we would split the groceries. And since we've got this house, we opened a shared bank account that our house bills come out of. And we just put money into that account. But we still have our own separate credit cards and all that. So I've been paying $600 out of each check to go into the house account for the mortgage, and then the rest of my bills here. These are my savings goals that I have right now, and then this is extra debt that I paid off this last week. And then I had a few more expenses. See, I can't even fit it all on one page. It's ridiculous. And then the rest of my savings goals. This is my cash envelope breakdown. So I write down everything that I want the cash for, pick the denominations, add it up here, add up the total here, and then I put it on a sticky note, such as this one that I got from the Budget Mom, and I take this to the cashier at the, or the bank teller at the bank, and she gives me the cash for it. Then, this is my next paycheck budget. So this is what I'll be paying. That was on the blue in the calendar. This is my cash envelope tracker. So on the 14th, I will be putting what I've added or if I remove. Same on the 28th. And then I'm going to kind of come up with the total of the month. What did I add or what did I remove for the month? And then what my ending balance is. This is my starting balance, and I'll just do this monthly. This is something new that I'm starting, so I'll talk about that later. Credit cards is $11,868. Ridiculous, but I did pay off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 last week, and I had a few that were already paid off. I just got to call and cancel all these before they start charging me fees and those types of things. Loans. Now this is terrible when I look at this. This includes my school loan, my car loan, all the loans. I have a medical loan from when I went through some health things, but it's $49,183, which is just ridiculous to me. And that's for my next paycheck budget. And then this is September. So that last paycheck in August had the orangish color. And so that's where we're going here. And then the pink here. This is kind of like my debt snowball thermometer. I made 2 because this number, adding those 2 numbers plus my house on here, that number was just too much for my brain. And I was like, I'll never get to even color up here. So I did one without the house on there, so maybe I could color it a little bit faster. And then I do some challenges just to make it fun. So this one is $1. Or no, this one's the 12-month challenge. So every paycheck, I'll put $25 in. I only put 24. I know I get paid 26 times, but 24 is easier for my brain. At the end of the year, I'll have $600. This challenge will end in June of next year, and that's right around the time of mine and Gary's birthday. So we're going to use the $600 for our birthday. This is my 100 envelope challenge. I am saving this for a trip we're taking in April. So I'm going to see how many of them I can get done. I do 2 every paycheck, but if I start pulling small ones, I may do more than 2, so I can get that knocked out by April. We rented a cabin, and this will just about pay the cabin off. So this is my $10 challenge. So this one's $1. They're just each $1. They equal $50. I do it because it's fun to me. I have a little ATM machine. I put the dollars in, and when I get this $50, I'll take it and put it somewhere else. I don't know, whatever I want to do with it. And so that is my budget binder. That's what keeps me on track. It keeps me motivated. And I will come back and do another video about this anchor payment and kind of tell you how I'm switching from what I always have tried was the snowball method to what I'm calling my anchor method. I'm not sure what you call it. I think it's called the Cascade or something, because there's the snowball, avalanche. Maybe this one's Cascade. I was reading something about it online, but I'm calling it my anchor plan. So I'm actually switching to this. I need to fill it all out, but that is how I budget. And so I need to start filling this out now that before the month gets too far in, and I can start to see where my money's going. And yeah, so now I'm just waiting for payday so I can pay those bills and cash some more envelopes, or stuff some more envelopes. But I'll show you my envelopes on another video as well, in case you're curious of what I save and why I save it in a cash envelope, and a little bit more of how I come to that amount of money. So anyways, I appreciate you guys being here. I think this is really going to hold me accountable and help me go in the right direction instead of slowly going in the wrong direction. And please follow if you also cash stuff, because I would love to watch your videos and maybe get some ideas from you as well, and to encourage you on your journey. So anyways, I will talk to you later, guys. Bye.